What's good, YouTube? It's Orion representing Sinister Media at sinister.media. I wanted to talk today about the creative process. And it's kind of a harder topic to lead into because maybe not a lot of people have heard that term before and don't think of creativity as a process per se. But it kind of goes along with the whole getting the most bang for your buck out of a project. So say you're starting a new project, and again, you may not necessarily be in tech, you may not necessarily even be in kind of creative directly, and you go to build your technical or creative branding, marketing, website, that kind of stuff, part of your project, and you're thinking to yourself, why is this taking so long? I thought that, I would just go in and pay somebody and bada boom, bada bang, they would have a website done for me, and I've heard about this WordPress thing. I thought a website only took 2 hours to make. So let me kind of explain a little bit about what to expect if you're building a new digital marketing, digital presence project from scratch, okay? So creativity is a process. You may be used to things that you kind of understand what the time scope is going to be like. Like if I go into work and I have to call 15 customers to generate leads, and each call on average takes 15 minutes or yada yada yada, I expect that in a week that I'm going to be able to do X number of leads or such and such, right? And apologize if I don't if I'm kind of dumbing down lead generation or something like that, but certain things happen in very quantified packets of time. And creativity is just creative projects just don't tend to work like that. And there are kind of a couple of reasons for that. One, no matter how good of a creative you are, I just find that you're just not the same level of creative every day, day after day. I think being a professional creative means that you're better at being good, just kind of right off the bat, day in, day out. But it doesn't mean that you'll be at kind of the same level of performance every day. And it's just expected, that's just understood. It's no matter how good you are at it, it's just that this day may be a little bit different from that day, and so it will be kind of hard to figure out exactly what your work output is going to be day to day. The second reason that this kind of divergence can happen is because, one, as a person asking for a project to be done, you may not know exactly what your criteria are, and so part of the way in, you may change the needs. Your needs may change, and that has ramifications on the project. And so a lot of times what people don't understand is that what may seem like a very minor change has larger standing implications. For instance, we were working on a website and we were putting kind of an event calendar in it, and the idea of having those events post to Facebook came up. That sounds like a very small change, but it's kind of not, right? You may need a Facebook app, which means that you need a Facebook page, and then you have to do the actual integration. All of that is more than a trivial amount of work. That's a couple of days work, or and a couple of extra accounts that you have to set up that could push your project back. So that's kind of where that comes from. And then number three, the third thing that kind of that can play a factor into this is the fact that there are unknowns that you just don't know. So I think anybody who's ever done tech knows the feeling of going in and doing something that should be relatively simple and then just finding out that something just does not work like that. And so that's just really what the job of engineering is. It's less about knowing HTML and CSS and really knowing about how to make all the different parts of technology work and talk to each other in a way that gets your client's needs met. That's what the job of engineering actually is solving all these little problems that come up in the interim. So what does that mean for you, if you're going into these projects? So what I say is it's kind of about expectation management. Just understand that going into these projects, that these projects are a give and take. You know what I mean? Your creatives are going to, or your dev team is going to build something for you. You're going to give them feedback. They're going to build a little more. You're going to give feedback more, and you're slowly going to, over time, get closer and closer vector towards what it is that you're looking for. If you keep going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it seems like you're not making making your way towards that final goal, then that's definitely a red flag that maybe the team that you're working with is not the best suited to work with you on the project that you're looking for. But if there are lots of iterations and steps of going over, your project towards where you want to go, then know that that's normal. That's, totally, completely, 100% normal and expected. And expect that when you're going into these projects. In fact, I would say if you're doing, looking to do a major project, right? You're a small business owner and you want to launch a new website. Give yourself a good lead time. Give yourself a 2 or 3 month lead time before launching that website. You know what I mean? Don't expect that website's going to be done in 2 or 3 weeks and that everything's going to be all hunky dory and that, and then be surprised when the project falls behind. Give yourself enough padding and space so that as these different changes in requirements, these different changes in your needs, these communication gaps, and the actual just creative process that, give that time to shake out to what you want. And instead of putting yourself in a bad situation where you needed something done and it's not done at the time that you needed it. So anyway, hope that helps. As always, you can email the team at hello@sinister.media and, send us your questions. Peace.